Hello, Math 1 students. Again, this is Mr. Flynn. As you see, I'm pulling out the same worksheet that I started with for your notes, that shapes by characteristics. I'll probably put a clean one again on for Wednesday, but I want to scroll down, saving all my notes here. Hopefully you've been filling those in. Don't forget to be looking over a lot of these characteristics of quadrilaterals. And let's move down. We did distance formula. Now we're going to do the midpoint formula. Okay. So today is going to be midpoint formula, and we'll practice some distance formula again. So again, if you notice, we always have an x1, x2, y1, y2. So the midpoint formula, what we're trying to do is go back to the original 2 points. All right. And those original 2 points were 2, 3. That's 1 point. And then the other point is 6, -1. And what we want to do is not find the distance between the 2 points like we did up here. Okay. What we're trying to do is find where is the coordinate of the midpoint. So we're actually going to find a coordinate with an x and a y, a new x and y. And we want it to be in between these 2 points. So if we were to plot 2, 3 on the graph and to plot 1, -6 on the graph and drew a line between them and found right in the middle, we want to find the new, what's called the midpoint. And we're going to use what's called a midpoint formula. Again, it's the same idea, but this, when we do that work, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, that will find the new x coordinate of our midpoint. And then when we take y1 plus y2 and divide by 2, that'll find our new y coordinate of our midpoint. So this is going to be our midpoint. Now I'm going to show you here, so we have it on our note sheet and that you could study from, or you can use those formulas again. And then I'm going to switch over to the worksheet that I'm actually giving you for today to work on, and we'll do a few of the problems, okay? So again, let's call this point 1 and this point 2, doesn't matter. And so we take x1, okay? So x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Well, that's 2. That's x of the first point plus x of the second point, which is 6, divided by 2, which is 8 over 2, which is 4. So 4 is our new x coordinate, all right? So let's see here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a 4 in here. And now I'm going to do my y1 plus y2 over 2. That's this part right here. All right. And so that's going to be, the y of the first point is 3 plus y of the second point, which is -1 over 2, which is 3 plus -1 is 2 over 2, which is 1. So this, let's change colors here to get us a little, this is the midpoint between these 2 points. So all you need to do is use this formula over and over again. Sometimes they'll give you the points like they did in our notes here, or sometimes you'll have a coordinate and a coordinate plane and 2 points on there, and you need to then find those 2 points, whatever they are, the coordinates, and then figure out, what the midpoint is. So let's look at number 1. So in number 1, okay, we have this point here, which is the point 2, -2, right? We go over 2, down 2, right? So that gets us this coordinate. So then, let's get rid of that. This point up here is over 1, up 5. So it's 1, 5. So those are your points. So we can call this point 1 if we want. We can call this point 2. Doesn't matter. Remember, the midpoint. So we're somewhere in here is a midpoint, midway through, halfway through, somewhere, and we don't know what it is. All right, so we're going to try to find out what that coordinate of that midpoint actually is. All right, so Now we're going to get some fractions sometimes as an answer, but they're not going to be crazy fractions. So remember, the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. That's the first coordinate. And then y1 plus y2 over 2. It might seem hard to remember, but always write the formula at the top of the page so you can always use it. You're always going to have your worksheet or be able to look back at your formulas, okay? So don't worry about that. There's a lot of formulas, but it's always x2, x1, y2, y1. It's always the same, but then you just got to know which way to put it. So let's do x of the first point is 1. Let's get rid of that. I don't know what that is. So x of the first point is 1 plus x of the second point is 2 over 2, which is 3 over 2, or 1 1/2. So this is our new x value. All right, our y value is going to be y of the first point, which is 5, plus y of the second point, which is negative 2 over 2, which is 3 over 2, which is 1 1/2. So our new coordinate, x is 1 1/2, y is 1 1/2. That's our midpoint. So if I were to go over 1 1/2, up 1 1/2, that's the midpoint right there, okay? That's all it is. Just follow the formula. I'm not trying to make it too hard for you, but again, you can always scroll down, look at your key, okay? Number 1, 1 1/2, 1 1/2, perfect. All right, so let's try number 3 real quick. Let's see where we are here. All right, number 3 also. I like this one because you should be able to see that halfway is right there. And that point is over 3, up 1. So the midpoint that I already can figure out is 3, 1. But let's show our math to do it. We'll do it real quick, okay? So the first point right here is x is 2, y is 1. And then this point here is going to be x is 4, y is, let's go 4, 1. Call that 1, call that 2. Pretty simple. So you know the new x point is going to be x of the first point plus x of the second point divided by 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. And then the y is y of the first point plus y of the second point divided by 2, which is 2 over 2, which is 1. And so our midpoint is just 3, 1. Pretty simple, okay? Pretty easy. The only difference is there's a couple problems that you gotta they give you the points, and these are like in our notes, okay? Just call this point 1, point 2, and then take x1 plus x2 over 2 to get that new x point, and take the y1 plus y2 over 2 to get the new y point, and those are the coordinates of your midpoint, okay? So you're going to either get it on a graph or you're going to get it with coordinates. It's pretty simple. What we're going to do, just one practice, is try to find the distance, okay? So on number 11 through 18, we're doing the distance formula. Find the distance between each pair of points. So we're not finding the midpoint, we're finding the distance. And if we recall, okay, the distance formula equals that square root of, what did we have here? X2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so there's your formula. And if you don't remember, you can always go back to our, what do we have here? Right here. We can go back up to your distance formula, all right, that are basically on your note sheet, okay? So we got to find this point. That looks like -4, 0. X is -4. Here, X is 0, Y is 4. Just plug the numbers in. We have D equals, and you're probably going to need your calculator. X, call that 0.1, 0.2. So X of the second point, which is 0, minus X of the first point, which is -4. So it's minus and negative. So that'll be some work there. Plus Y of the second point, which is 4, minus Y of the first point, which is 0, squared. So this becomes the square root of 0. Let's do this. 0 minus a -4 is just 4. Plus 4 minus 0 is just 4. And then, if we remember, 4 squared is 16, plus 4 squared is 16, and that's the square root of 32. Get out our trusty calculator, okay, turn it on, make sure everything's cleared, get the square root of 32, and we enter that, we get 5.6568. It goes on and on. This wants us to round to the nearest 10th. So here's a 10th place. Check to the right. Is that 5 or above? The answer is yes. So we add 1 to the 10th place, so this becomes 5.7. And again, this is problem number 11. We can scroll down. Problem number 11, 5.7. We got it right. All right, I hope that helps. Please work on the rest of these problems here. Keep that note sheet. We'll probably be giving a quiz later this week, but you're doing pretty good. If you have any questions or you're not sure, please email me or Miss Castillo or Miss Benia. Also, just so you know, we're probably going to be checking in with you, doing a Google class or a Zoom meeting either this week or next week, just to see how things are going with you. All right? Hope everything's all good.